In this video, we will look at minimizing external forces to maintain speed and generating power through kinematic efficiency. Let's start with external forces. Swimmers face different external forces than other athletes, including buoyancy, water temperature, waves or white water, and water resistance, to name a few. We will focus on how to reduce waves and white water in the underwater pull phase of backstroke. To minimize the amount of white water, the backstroke swimmer must continuously rotate their body in an angular motion around their center axis, while maintaining the placement of their head in an extended position. This rotation allows for a deep catch, which will reduce waves produced by the pull phase. Notice the extended arm. The ulnar deviation of the wrist during the recovery phase amplifies the depth of the catch, which will create less white water throughout the pull. Now you see the swimmer rotating their body and pulling with a bent arm simultaneously. But if the swimmer did not do the rotation, the pull would look like this, creating white water and waves which will slow down the swimmer. The question is, couldn't the swimmer just maintain the straight arm during the pull to reduce white water, and then not have to rotate at all? This question can be answered by a look at the kinematics of the backstroke pull. The angle of the arm is detrimental to the power of the pull. The swimmer begins with acceleration of the arm into the water to allow for a deep catch. The swimmer then maintains a high elbow as the hand and forearm begin to pull, and the most propulsive part of the pull happens with all sections of the arm simultaneously. The swimmer puts more force into the adduction of the humerus once the wrist and forearm are in line with the shoulder. The hand and forearm should act as one paddle to create the most surface area and generate the greatest amount of propulsion for every stroke. The line connecting the left shoulder and right elbow is ideal as the trunk of the body supports the arm. Also, the right shoulder is not hyperextended. The elbow is directly lateral to the shoulder. The 90-degree angle at the elbow allows for maximum power potential as the muscles are in the ideal place to generate force. Here, the swimmer is struggling to exit the pool with extended arms. What will happen when we create the same angle with our arms that we previously did in the backstroke pull? The swimmer can now exit the pool easily as the muscles are in an ideal place to engage. This relates directly to the power of the backstroke pull. If a swimmer was to use straight arms, they would not be able to generate as much speed because every stroke would be less powerful. Here, the arm and shoulder muscles are working by themselves to try to propel the swimmer. With the arm bent at the 90-degree angle, we know that the swimmer is maximizing the potential for speed because the propulsive phase is beginning from a position where the supporting muscles are strongest. The latissimus dorsi, pectoralis, and abdominal muscles are aiding and anchoring the arm and shoulder, giving more force for every pull. This is why the angle of the arm is vital to the stroke. To create the circumstances at which this 90-degree angle can be made, rotation is key. If no rotation occurs, then the shoulder must hyperextend to keep the arm submerged. This causes the muscles of the rotator cuff to repeatedly overwork and can easily result in the common shoulder injury, nicknamed swimmer shoulder. However, if the body is rotated, then the humerus is being adducted directly along the frontal plane with no hyperextension of the shoulder. At this point, the latissimus dorsi muscles can engage and take the work off the rotator cuff. To summarize, we now know that rotation is key to minimizing some external forces, and the relationship between rotation and the angle of the underwater pull is vital to the propulsion of the stroke.